Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we've got ourselves an act. Ghostride Media, who I did a review a few days ago, I think, for Ghostride Media's and Julie Hall's If It Suddenly Happens. We've got ourselves an album today titled The Epic. There are 9 tracks, and there's a few people involved with this in addition to Jonas Scherstrom. I think that's how I got told it was shirt and then strum of a guitar. Scherstrom. Jonas Scherstrom. Hopefully I've got that right. And we switch over to here. We've got this on Music B. Please ignore what Music B thinks the album art is. No, I'm not doing this for a joke. Music B is apparently just drunk right now. So we've got these 9 tracks, and we've also got the featured artists as well as who else was involved. We've got Frida Gradine as well on some of these tracks. So again, listen to each of these tracks from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Boom. The Land of Fae Turnanog, number 1. Got another orchestral arrangement here. That's pretty cool. Apparently this album is about fantasy creatures. It does sound like it comes from like a fantasy game or something like that. Like, to be fair, this does sound like it could come something from like League of Legends or another fantasy PS4 game or PC game. Particularly one of those MMORPGs. That there is a fairly common chord progression in these types of music. It becomes like sort of, there's a bit of tension at the start with the first 2 chords of the progression in a section like this. And then bum, bum, and then it kind of resolves to a major chord, and it becomes a little bit more, oh, we're coming out of this bin. Oh, and they loop it as well to kind of go back between the issues and then the solution. As if the journey is continuing, there are ups and downs. The strings are beautiful, man. You got an oboe or something like that. Bop, 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 staccatos. Not every day I get to review stuff like this, so I'm quite happy I'm doing it. Oh? Oh. Damn, man, that crescendo into that was wild. It was such a slick transition. It took me a surprise. I wasn't expecting, because a lot of the action was happening in this side of the stereo field, my left side, and suddenly you have the lower male vocals coming in just before the move into the drum kit in this part. Dun 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 dun. It's kind of interesting. Those strings are taking the place of our 8th note hi-hat groove. Bum 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 bum. Oh, and they're going to 16ths. There's constant things to keep you interested and engaged in the music. There's not a dull moment in here. There's either a fill going on or there's a new instrument being added. Or you got the vocals coming back in after I've been away for like a few, like 8 or 16 bars. Nice harmonies there, rolling with those octaves. Most of the instruments are unison though with those root notes and main sort of harmonies. Oh, Ooh. Oh, there's a lot of tension in this part. Hey, we released. Cool. And then dynamic range. And returning back to that original musical theme. It's nice to have that the brass instrument there. I'm not quite sure what that is, like a trombone or something like that. You know, to roll with the vocals in unison like that. They're in sync. It's just an added extra texture, that extra bit of harmony to that vocal line without needing to have the chorus that was coming in or the choir that was coming in before. Cool, and it's nice to have a break from that vocal texture with this melody line. Ooh, nice bass resonance as well. Okay, we're coming in with... It's interesting to have these 16th note hi-hats. It's cool to have the drum kit in there though. I don't think it would have been the same without like those big drums that you see people with those orchestral drums. I think having an actual drum kit in here was a smart move. Gives it a little bit more of a contemporary feel, which I assume if this is... And again, you've got a quarter note groove, so you can nod your head to it fairly effectively, and it works. Oh, we had a tone, an uplift in the tone of it with a literal tonal key change. A tone key. Yeah, you know what I mean? Words. It could have been more of a tone, but... very easy way to make a final chorus sound bigger. There's no actual increase in the amount of instruments in the mix or like the intensity that they're playing. It's just when you bring the whole entire register of it up a little bit, it just seems bigger. Like a big finish. A little more triumphant and a little bit more sort of like, oh yeah, we're on top of this. This is something to celebrate. There's a big adventure ahead. And we're keeping that tension that we had earlier in a halfway point. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, this orchestral arrangement suits the type of music that I think that Ghostride Media and Jonas Sjöström are trying to create here. I think that this was very effectively written. I can't really fault it. You know, it's a technically complex composition. You've got these different instruments performing little extra layers and additions that would have taken a while to plan out, especially in a 5.5 minute piece like this. But for that 5.5 minutes to also go by as quickly as it did insinuates to me that this was all deliberate, and you know, they have experience writing music like this, and it comes across as true to the sort of themes that they try to instantiate. Lesh Castle. This one was written by Jonas Sjöström and Frida Gradin, so that's all good. Okay, so this is more of a situational track, meant to describe maybe a... Hang on a minute. I should also mention that there was some of this music is related to a video game, a video game, Legends of Kreville, that is being worked on at the moment. So if it sounds like it could be video game music, that's probably why. It's nice having the call and response with those strings and the lower and higher registers and having them come together here. It was cool having that vocal sample at the start, that whisper kind of catches you by surprise, saying, "Wait, what is this? Who is speaking to me right now?" That percussion was quite complex. Eh? There was a lot happening there, but there were a lot of ghost notes in the drumming, which, despite the complexity, kind of also seemed like the drum kit didn't want to really be noticed by anyone. Again, we had this theme come in at the start of it. This is one of those songs where you're kind of instantiating. It's like it seems like how do I say this? It tells the story that it needs to within 2 minutes to set the mood for something. Like it's a theme specific for Lish Castle, I suppose. I mean, like it does the job it needs to. Like I'm sure I remember this. Da 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 dun dun da 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 dun dun dun. It repeats that rhythmical sequence so that you can kind of follow along to it. Da 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 da. It's meant to get stuck in your head effectively. That main sort of theme, and it does it. It does. If we go back to the start, yeah, instant. What I'm liking about this instantly, it's very unsettling, very different to Land of Fae. You got that, Cool. So basically what I've just recognized is that, you've got that organ part playing the musical melody or like the exact version of it or near to that the strings were sort of building on for the rest of it, which is cool, and developing, which is cool. You've got, consistency and connection within this track. Great work, and then you've got the kind of the vocals in there, the whispery ones, and it's very, very sort of theatrical. Again, it's really cool music, actually. It's great to have this range within the epic, this album. We got Lady Sever, featuring Sarah Lee. Sarah Lee on vocals, or Sarah Lee on vocals. Very atmospheric. Again, you have these dun 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 staccato dun 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 staccato strings here to kind of add intensity to it. It's got a cool groove on those drums again. We're really rolling with those quarter note. We're relying on those quarter note grooves to go bum, 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 bum. Those kicks on them. And then you've got that contrast as well. Between the held notes and the singing and everything else being very kind of very short, which is good. You got the horns adding their parts in now, an extra little bit instrumental layer in here, which is cool. Oh, that was a nice little vibrato there. We're getting a little bit of that ornamentation in. Cool. What do we got next? Hey, we're getting comfortable now. That's good. Yeah, this is a lot of this is more of a safe harmony than what we had with Lish Castle. Sorry, it's more of a safe. Did I say less of a safe? It's more of a safe harmony. You've got some really lovely resolutions going on within the chord progression there. Very few extended bits going on. It's mainly to do with those major and minor harmonies. Yeah. The sound is huge because of the amount of instrumental layers and the size of the production, you know, but the harmony itself is reasonably simple. And you got those da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da 16th note strings come. Oh, arpeggios. Fantastic. You know, fantastic. And we just have that drop in intensity. Just boom. We've had the slow build throughout this entire time with the slowly increasing intensity and energy within the string sections and the percussion and the vocals. And we're finishing up with this. All right, we have a reiteration of the main theme there. Really cool. And again, it's incredibly effective. Like it's very simple. That vocal lines are very simple, and she was acting more like a musical instrument than a message there. But I don't think that a story really needed to be told there. That wasn't additional to the mood and the atmosphere that was provided within this. It was Lady Severe expressing herself, you know, that was her story. Any emotions that you got subjectively from that music within that was who she was as a human being, and I got to respect that. You know, like to me, there was that tension and resolution going there within a lot of this music, and I know that a lot of music does that, and it sounds kind of generic, but from what I can tell from the way she was singing, like she was calling out to someone to sort of like help her or maybe save her, or it was interesting to just have the vocals like that, though. You know, it shows strength when you're able to provide an instrumental performance that is compelling and you don't need to have someone holding your hand through it. I think that's really well done. Some of Us, number 4. So we got a triplet groove in 4/4. All right. It's very peppy and upbeat, isn't it? It's like something joyous. There's an innocence and enthusiasm in it. It sounds like it's something that's being celebrated, and I'm not quite sure what. Like, I was given like a bit of a heads up on what these tracks were about beforehand, and I read through them, but I'm also trying to understand what it is from listening to the music itself. Okay. And we've got this brass up top. Got this brass up top doing this good stuff, reiterating their musical theme for that second half, or that second section. Drums are staying the same throughout with that consistent, catchy groove on the kit. Now, what's kind of cool? Dun, 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 dun. That's a polyrhythm, I think. Yeah, bum 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 dun 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 bum 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 bum. Yeah, that's definitely a polyrhythm. So we're including polyrhythmical elements in it just to mess with the listener's expectations and kind of take them by surprise a little bit. Just have fun with it, you know. And just in case people aren't aware of what I mean by polyrhythm, you've got done to 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and it's kind of like dun 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 like that. So you've got two instruments playing in a different rhythm to each other. Oh, that double kick there, I heard you. I heard you with that double kick. I was half expecting distorted guitar to come in there. We haven't heard too much piano yet, have we? It's welcome in the mix. It's a nice little bit of textural change. Especially considering the range, the note range that pianos have, especially 8-octave ones. Obviously, I mean, they're 8 octaves, right? Again, I understand though why we're gonna focus on the strings. Like, strings are a massive part of the fantasy genre, and like, if you want to make an epic sounding album, you gotta have those strings. That drum work is just ridiculous. You know, like that's those double kicks are so quick. A lot more than I was hearing in the previous transitions. I'm trying to figure out why it is that we have, you know. Yeah, that's some phenomenal drum work though, it really is. We're finishing like this. All right, we're finishing with a whole orchestral backing there, which sounds like we've reached the end of the story there. This speaks of celebration. Lady Severa speaks of someone calling out for help. Lish Castle kind of gave me the vibe that someone was stuck in a castle and the vampire was after them. The Land of Fae sounded like we're off on some grand adventure, and it was a great way to start the album. Each of these tracks has a subjectively, at least to me, a specific, unique identity, despite a lot of the instruments being carried over from each of them, which shows to me that the composer, Jonas Sjöström, is capable of keeping a story continuous whilst maybe not making them chronological. Yeah, very well done. Very well done. I'm liking the dynamic range within these performances, and I'm just liking how the drums were just so active in this one. It was a nice change from the more sort of the more conservative grooves that we had previously. We got harder now, number 5. Is that piano or something like that up in the top register? It's really cool to hear people using those really high keys. It kind of sounds like raindrops or snow or something like that. It's also a great layering device because it's up top. You know you're not going to have any lower bass interference. Cool. And we just, again, we have the strings with that theme that the da-da-da-da-da is continued. You've got a very simple melodic sort of sequence brought in by those strings. And then we've got the drums filling into a new section. and building upon that original sort of concept. Nice little accents on the crash. Ah, and the vocals have returned. I've missed these. Again, a nice little development to not have everything brought in at once. It's cool to introduce bits later on, just to, again, to retain that engagement and attention of people. You don't want to overwhelm people straight off the bat. People will grow used to it. Interesting accents on the piano, though. It's kind of having a cooler response with the piano parts and the kind of it slowly increase in volume. That, by the way, signals a very, very solid control of the vocal technique. To be able to sing like that and, you know, like that, is pretty impressive. That Jonas Sjöström has got people involved like that who can sing that well. You couldn't pull this off with someone who was halfway through their first year of singing, put it that way. This is expert level stuff. It's finesse. Again, there's not a whole lot of change in this part. At this point in the composition, we're apparently very comfortable with the way everything is sounding. We're letting it be sort of more of an environment for the listener to get lost in. And I think that's really, really cool. The harder thing, again, maybe it's like Lady Severe. It's about sort of calling out for like help to, again, assist with the situation. That they need to keep pushing on and become stronger. Again, there's more stuff happening in a higher register now, which indicates to me that we're getting closer to the finish of the song. We love our big finishes. Although I will note that there's a little bit more activity happening in the piano as well on the right side, which initiates to me that we've realized that, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that cascading looped melody was cool at first, but we needed to add some more chords and there's a little bit more activity on it and just to keep things balanced. Oh, it's the tails that have changed. Oh, we've got some descending and ascending stuff. That's cool. Some ascending and descending arpeggios and scales. A little bit of tension in that specific chord there. Bom, 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 bom. And returning to that original theme on the piano there for the outro. Cool, smart move. Hey, is that a bass guitar or something like that in there? That's cool. I wasn't aware of that before, but it's great to hear that instrument in here. I was wondering when that was going to come in, considering we had a drum kit. Usually those two work really well together. Bass guitar and drums. The Crow, number 6. No messing around, man. We got that crow coming in straight away, dude. Some ambient vocal textures there. Oh. Some pan flutes. Kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones for some reason, man. I'm supposing that people say that kind of stuff a lot. I know there's other stuff than Game of Thrones. I just still haven't gotten over that final episode there. Okay, we got the unison of those vocal parts with that original melody on the flute. And some brass instruments. Okay, and we've got the male vocals coming in with the low end stuff happening. It's really good. It's a nice change from what we had previously. Go dun 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 dun. Some nice accents in the rhythm section as well. Again, just changing the original musical idea and going between the A and B sections. It works, man. For 6 minutes 15, this is fine. That's the limitation of a lyric or like. That's the limitation of when you have songs that are centered around a singer or a vocalist telling a story, because you then have to make sure that for that 6 minutes, the story that the lyricist is telling is interesting. This here, it's easy to forgive without a story being told explicitly through words. Huge sound to those gongs and cymbal bits. It's nice to have some more orchestral drums in this part. Some more tribal stuff going on. That's really cool. I don't think the texture of an acoustic drum kit would have fit this as well. Is this a change of it? Is this like going halftime or something like that, or is this a section we've had before? It's so joyous and loving. It was kind of ominous at the start with the crow and how things were going in with that, but it appears to have come to a more majorish tonality. And we've got the vocals kind of forming more of a pad-like effect now with the original music theme continuing, right? This almost sounds like Celebration. Oh, and there was a nice, abrupt kind of finish to that, wasn't there? Ba ba ba. Is that like a mandolin or something like that, or a lute? Great. Well done. Really cool. Really nice, authentic kind of vibe to that. So again, like this whole album has sound like it could go well with a video game. It's smart stuff actually. Again, it would have taken a lot of time to get to compose all the different parts to come together like this track. But you gotta hand it to Ghostride Media, Jonas Sjöström. He knows his classical orchestral chops. There's nothing that I've heard yet throughout this album that has seemed out of place or unnecessary. We've got The Sirens Call to Me, featuring Frida Gradin. I assume this is about sirens. Again, we haven't got specific words that are being sung. It's mostly about the vocal texture and the melody of it. And it's a very subjective experience. Oh, there's a bit of tension there. Ooh, bit of darkness in there. Doesn't sound like a necessarily desirable situation. Again, a lot of stuff happening with the percussion, dude. Those cymbal hits like like that. It's stunning. Really well done. And you got this cascading, ascending string parts as well, with a consistent bass line. There's so much action in here. There's so much so much to keep you entertained, and then it comes and goes in stages because they know exactly how long to keep it going before it can become a little bit sort of detrimental to the performance. Oh wow, we're going real high on that register, aren't we? Well done getting high in the vocal range. Wow, that's getting close to whistle voice, that. That was incredibly high. What a stunning singer. And it sounds so effortless. That's the crazy part. You can tell they've worked at it for such a long time because of how smoothly everything's coming through without any modulation on the vocals. It's really cool. And we're returning to this. Stunning. It does kind of sound like I would imagine the sirens would sound. Creepy stuff, man. It's the siren stuff. Just the story behind it creeps me out. I remember reading the Odyssey, and I think that had that in it. I don't like that stuff. That was a hell of an active string line. Dun 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 dun. There's just so many notes in there, but they all work together really well. Again, it's just a simplification of the original thing that was occurring, of the development that was occurring beforehand. Wow, what a stunning finish. Very, very, very competent vocal performance. Beautiful. Luxurious. It's a luxurious tonality to this composition and this performance in general. Like, it sounds to me like I'm listening to something from a fairly high-end studio. Hell yeah, man. If I was someone working on like a film soundtrack or something, I definitely want to give these guys a call. It's really great. They really seem to know what they're doing. Each of these songs has been strong. We've got the Epic, featuring Sarah Lee, Frida Gradine, and Paulina Serlin? Sir, because like, sure, and strum. Sure, strum. Oh, yeah, I don't know if I got Serlin. Serlin. What is that boing, boing, boing? Like, I know that instrument. I've heard it. It's like a hurdy-gurdy or something like that, right? Is that it? Is that a hurdy-gurdy? I think that's Sarah Lee there at that low end. I think Frida Gradine is in the middle or high. It's kind of surreal having the boing, boing, boing. And then we have this here. Because the Epic, right? Number 8. This kind of makes me think of like, this is going to be like the big final boss battle or something like that. I got these low strings and brass, which is, it sounds huge, dude. It sounds like we're about to have a hell of a time. And then that, like, darkness comes away when we have the singers come back in, which is interesting. As if they're trying to sort of insinuate that without the singers, there's no hope. Ooh, that was a hell of a ride, wasn't it? I like that. It just sounds like it's uncertain. It sounds uncertain to me. Oh, but then it resolves there. And it's interesting that they hold these resolutions within the chord progression for a bar or a beat longer than they usually, like I would have expected. It's like they're saying, savor this moment because of what will come next. Again, a quarter note groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's also been some meter changes in here in terms of the time signature, but that's fine. And a kind of a break. Halfway point. Lovely. That was nice. It was nice to have a talky bit at the halfway point. It was also nice for the drums and everything to cut out, so the main sort of the person who was talking there had a specific place where they could be in the mix without interference. Lovely vocal harmonies, they're gorgeous and so fresh sounding because of the way that they've been recorded. Oh, that's I don't know what that's called. I don't know what that's specific. Hang on a minute. So you've got like spiccato, which is faster than staccato, and it's like a bouncing bow. And then you've also got saltille, which is detached, very rapid bouncing strokes played in the middle of the bow. I'm assuming that this is probably what they're doing. Again, we're bringing in that piano as well. And this like main sort of musical concept is what was brought in initially by the vocalists. Again, we're just continuing it, but we have the instrumental version of it now. We're reiterating it in a different format to keep a connection stylistically, but also to keep things fresh. Okay, reiteration of that main theme. To kind of help you to remember what going out. As if to say the story is not older yet, or over yet, or maybe it is. Great teamwork between these different singers. Really well done. It's nice to have that heavy brass coming in, that bass. Some blasts or thunder or something like that, right? A very classy way to finish it, actually, with that foley there. That was really well done. It helps to you to understand exactly what this might be about. You know, like, especially for someone like me who isn't necessarily familiar with the language that the person was speaking in the middle of the song, hearing stuff like that is like, oh, there was a battle or something like that. I'll just be right back. The risk that I take with songs like this, like the epic, where they're 7 minutes, and I don't have a lot, like there's not a huge amount of change in the overall vibe of it. You know, you had like 3 parts. You had the first section where you had the vocals sort of mostly orienting it, and then you had the second part where the kind of percussion faded out, and you had the everything else but the talkies, and then you had the instrumental part kind of take over the theme from the vocals in the third. It's simply because I try not to reiterate myself too much within my reviews, because otherwise I know it can kind of be annoying. We've got Legends of Creville. Hang on. Yeah, we got number 9, Legends of Creville, Mount Ekra, and Game Over. This is the final track, composed by Jonas Sjöström and Frida Gradin. This is 2 songs kind of connected as one. Sounds a little bit darker than what we have with the epic, even. It does sound like we're coming to the end of the piece, end of the album. Again, we've got those staccatoed strings. Oh no, they're not staccatoed anymore, never mind. Nice changes in dynamic range with those strings though. And the vocals coming in as well. And adding a little bit of additional layering and context to the musical concept. Oh, that trumpet coming in is a nice texture to this. What is that though? Oh, and the percussions come in to spice it up a little bit, increase the intensity and dynamicism of it. Again, there's repetition used here, but it's used intelligently. If you know you've got a great musical idea, you gotta keep it going, you know? Again, no need to change things up significantly through a song unless that would benefit the themes or the story of the music. Yeah. Again, I think this is music from Legends of Creville, you know, so again, it's great video game soundtrack. The guitar works really well with these pizzicato strings. Some subtle little layers in there that complement the more in-your-face ones. Again, very freeform 4x4. That's good though. Hey! Male choir coming in. And that piano line is just dancing around that stereo field, dude. It's a nice additional layer on top of those strings. Dope. Really cool, man. Really cool. That was a stunning finish to it. It's nice to have the guitar at the end. I haven't heard much guitar through this. It was interesting having the drum and the bass parts, but to not have a guitar in there is kind of weird for me. But again, I understand that for this genre of music, you know, we have ourselves what is effectively an album that is suitable for like film scores or like video games within the same sort of fantasy genre. And I've said fantasy a lot. It's just the one that makes sense to me here. But it's better not to overcomplicate things. With the epic, again, each of these tracks had its own sort of unique identity. You could tell what they were meant to be about for the most part. Again, some of us in harder, I could kind of get what was going on from the name and the way the music sort of sounded. The Sirens Call to Me made sense. The Epic sounded cool to me as well. Just Ghostride Media, Jonas Sjöström, as well as Frida Gradin and the singers Sarah Lee and Paulina Serlin, they all played their parts eloquently and intelligently. All competent vocalists or speakers when they needed to be. Again, I have to appreciate the amount of time it would have taken to compose these songs. You know, despite the fact that there were maybe one or two sort of main sections for each piece, that doesn't negate the fact that to layer those additional elements there, it's a huge amount of work. You know, if you just it's hard enough learning how one instrument works by itself and combining it with the second, let alone the amount of knowledge and understanding required to be able to put like 10 or 12 different sort of staves into a piece, like an orchestral piece like this, and to get them all working together, and just the textures of them, and also the purposes of the different instruments, knowing which ones are great as an anchoring point, a foundation for a song, which ones can replace the vocals in a mix effectively, especially if it's an instrumental piece like this, which ones sound like different elements, and also knowing to put Foley where it is, like with the Crow, we had the Crow sounds, and the Epic where we had the sounds of thunder and everything like that. A lot of thought went into each of these tracks, and I've got to hand it to Ghostride Media, Jonas Sjöström. It's very competent. It's a very well done album, This to me is kind of what would be required for the purposes that have been described to me, and I've got a lot of love for it, and I really hope they find success with this. My favorite song off of this was probably, it'd be a mix between, I think, The Crow, the Sirens Call to Me was quite dope as well. I liked the gentle development of Lady Severe with Sarah Lee as well. I think that was intelligent. Just to have that going for 3 minutes, and for those vocals, despite being held like as whole notes within the rhythmical element of things, for that to still be compelling was very, very, very impressive. And the rest of the songs are really well done as well. I just think The Land of Fae, Tirnanog, was a smart one to start with. It just got you in the groove for it. It got you in the mindset. It's a ballsy move, having a 5.5-minute song as the first one on the album, but they managed to pull it off. So well done. I was turning my camera on. Again, just to talk about the production here, I'm not sure how this was produced. There are a lot of different instruments. Even just the differences in the loudnesses of the different notes being played by the separate instruments and stuff like that. However way it was recorded or produced, it would have taken an incredible amount of time and knowledge and a fundamental understanding of the instrument to have been able to get them to sit like that. It's, you can't just have everything the same loudness. There needs to be a sense of humanization to it. Knowing that and sort of being able to sort of communicate that to instrumentalists and everything is imperative for this kind of music to work. And yeah, there were changes with the way the instruments were implemented, like the drums, for instance, and harder, I think, or Some of Us, where they started getting pretty wild with the double kicks and the fills and stuff. And yeah, again, to just have the guitar not be a focal point was a smart move. You had 20 different instruments before you had the guitar, and I like that. It's really cool. Really cool. Hopefully the Legends of Creville is something that can go out at some point as a game. It'd be pretty dope. Well done again to Ghostride Media, Jonas Sjöström, and all the other people involved in this production for their work. And thank you for watching this review of The Epic, an album by Ghostride Media, aka Jonas Sjöström. If you enjoyed it, please do go show Jonas Sjöström some love via their various social medias and their SoundClouds and all that. And stay cool and Spotify, and I'm sure they have music on other platforms. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you next review. Spider hands up.